right?
You're a little less menacing out of costume.
Right.
I hope so.
Seem much kinder.
Oh,
A little
yeah.
friendlier.
A
little less furry.
Yeah, a little.
Thank you for being with us today.
Oh, no problem.
Iconic.
Thank you.
Iconic.
I try.
So we gotta know, when you first played Art the Clown in the original Terrifier, did you have any idea that the franchise was going to blow up the way it has?
No. I mean, we made the first film on $35,000.
Oh,
That is
wow.
nuts.
So I didn't even think my dad was going to see that movie. So it was just like, he actually still hasn't seen the movie.
Oh my God.
But no, it's like we were just like, because we're a small, low budget independent film, and it's like, we're making it. We actually started filming it before they even started filming it, but we knew it was coming out. We're like, oh, we got to beat this thing. So we didn't beat it to the theaters or anything like that. But we're just like, oh gosh, who's going to see this thing?
Yeah.
And it was because the first one didn't release in theaters at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was originally just on like a few streaming platforms and.
I feel like it was kind of like this underground thing
Yeah.
where
It
I
really
was more heard about it through the grapevine, and then we saw it, and I was like, oh, this is the first like legit just a slasher film that I've seen in a long time.
And that's what was so crazy about it, because it wasn't even on Netflix originally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's because of the fans. It was the fans that got us where we were, because they were going out and talking about this movie they had seen, and it just kept snowballing. That's why Netflix approached us and were like, hey, can we put it on Netflix? We're going, yeah. And that's when it kind of first exploded with people that got more into the cultural zeitgeist.
Well, one thing I think is amazing is the fact that art does not talk, but yet you are able to convey so much emotion and bring that to his character. So where do you even get that inspiration?
Oh my gosh, that comes from a lot of different places. I mean, originally I thought it was just because I grew up watching all like the silent films, and my parents and grandparents gave me a great education in like films. So I was watching like Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Marx Brothers, Mr. Bean, and all that growing up, and I love that kind of style of a comedy. I love physical comedy, and I feel it's like an art form that has like died away in the past few decades. And I think maybe the last person that was really good at that was like Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And after that, it's just kind of just petered out. And I remember seeing, because I saw All Hallows Eve before I even auditioned for Terrifier, so I did the character. So when I saw the audition, I was like, oh my god, this character is like, when I saw it, I was like, this character is like an evil Mr. Bean. And like, there's so much potential with this character. I could do something with that one day. And the audition came out, I was like, here's my chance. Because I always wanted to play that kind of character before.
Right.
I always wanted to play that silent mischievous character. And I was like, this is my opportunity. So I was like, I of course pulled a lot of that, and also my buddy that I was the understudy for 5 years with How the Grinch Stole Christmas the musical was Stephen Carl, who was Robbie Rotten from Lazy Town. And,
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. And I had just come from my last tour with Grinch when I started doing Terrifier, so that was very fresh in my head. And I even called Stephen up and say, hey bud, 'cause he had that same appreciation for physical comedy that I did, and we used to talk about those old movies all the time.
Right.
And I'm like, I got a chance to play this type of character we both wanted to play. And he's like, can I get some tips? And he gave me some nice tips and everything. And I put a lot of that into the character. But I also realized, and it dawned on me like years later when I was at my cousin's wedding, and I was talking to my aunt, Wanda, who was deaf.
Okay.
And I never really learned sign language with her because she lip reads very well. And so every time I would talk with her, everything is big, exaggerated movements, facial expressions, arm movements, all that. And I was talking with her at the wedding, and I'm just, I'm like, oh, that's where this all comes from. I was talking to her, and I had to tell her, I was like, come on, this is where, she's like, what? I do not believe you. I'm like, yes, it's her. I was like, oh, thank you. She's hysterical.
She's like, what a legacy. I got to help inspire this killer clown.
Oh, and she loves horror movies because she can't hear the music, so she doesn't know when something's coming up. And so she gets more scared than anybody else because like when something happens.
Right.
Because she doesn't know it's coming. She's like, ah! Oh, the best thing about her too, she would probably kill me for saying this, but her scream is the funniest thing in the world. Because she doesn't scream like a normal person. Because she never heard how people scream. And so she learned how to scream from reading Donald Duck comic books. So instead of going, ah, like everybody else, she goes, wah! So it's the funniest thing, you just hear, wah! And then we laugh at her. She's like, it's not funny. No, it's hysterical. You heard what we heard. And she just turns off her hearing aids like, I'm not listening.
So as far as, like, obviously, you know, Art the Clown has taken on such a massive, like, he is pop culture, right? So how does it feel to be up with, like, the Michael Myers or the Jason Voorhees? Like art is, like,
Number one.
number one. Like, people, I mean, yesterday we saw so many kids dressed as art, people dressed as art. How does that feel to be such a pivotal part of horror after not that long?
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is extreme, because I'm of the generation a lot of y'all are from, is like where I grew up on like Leatherface and Freddy
Yeah.
and Chucky and Michael Myers and Jason. Those were like, you know, the Greek gods to me. It's like that's like that Mount Rushmore.
Right.
And to be even considered among them is a huge honor.
Yeah.
Because like Freddy is my king.
Yeah.
Like Freddy is I think the best horror character ever created. But yeah, that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
And I think it's so cool seeing like kids dressed up as art. And I'm like, how old are you? I'm 4. I'm like, but I leave it up to the parents because like
Yeah.
Damien was watching horror movies when he was like 3 years old. He's
Oh,
literally
really?
named after Damien from The Omen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, his
Okay.
mom actually went and found like the movie poster or whatever so she could make the spelling correct.
That's really awesome.
So yeah, so it didn't ruin him at all.
Yeah.
He seems perfectly healthy. I've seen his movies. He seems like he's doing
Everything's
great.
great.
He's very actually he's the most normal guy you'll ever
Yeah.
talk to. People are always surprised because they think, oh, he's probably some dark, creepy guy. Like, oh my god, no, he's such a dude bro.
Well, my favorite was you were even talking about Damien a little bit to us yesterday.
Yes.
You were giving us a little sneak peek behind the scenes with the makeup, and
Yeah.
you said that a lot of times he's listening to yacht rock.
Yes, he
Yeah.
listens to yacht rock while he's doing my makeup. It's you would never expect you to think it'd be like heavy metal.
Right.
No, he's listening to yacht rock.
Just a little yacht rock to get the day going.
Well, speaking of heavy metal, you
Yes.
worked with Ice Nine Kills.
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome. That was like a childhood dream come true
Yeah.
because I'm from the MTV generation.
Yeah.
So it was like I grew up with music videos, and it was like one of my favorite videos growing up, of course, was Thriller.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
And also Fat. I
Yeah.
love the Weird Al.
Yes.
Anytime that came on, my sister would come out and let me, if I was outside playing, she's like, Fat's on. I'm like,
Gotta
no,
go.
we're running in. I just thought it was so cool because like back then, music videos were like a little mini movies.
Yes.
Right.
They would go all out on these things, and that's what I loved about Ice Nine Kills with their videos. Like Spencer puts he's a huge cinephile himself. This man, I think, speaks more movie quotes than he actually speaks. He's like got an encyclopedic knowledge of movies, and so he takes that approach to his music
Yeah.
videos. He makes it very cinematic, and like when I first saw one of his videos a few years ago, I was like, dude, I gotta work with you on something because like the production value on these is amazing. And
It's like its own mini
It
movie.
really
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly that.
yeah, and he's like, well, dude, we gotta collaborate one day, and that's what happened. It was so much
fantastic.
fun. I was like a little kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
And it was also cool because like they did not tell all the extras that I was in the video. They had no
wow.
idea. They just knew they were just going in for an Ice Nine Kills video. So like I came out and surprised everybody.
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, guess who's here?
Run!
Like what? And I'm like, yeah. It was fun. There were some fun moments in it, especially like I felt so sorry for the extras at the end where I've taken the chain gun out and killed everybody because they're all lying all over the ground. They just lie in this position for like an hour or so. And I'm like, oh, you're all getting cramps. I know because I've had to do this before. And it's like, and then I'm like in the middle of the scene, I just hear this one guy just. And I was like, oh,
He's fine.
he was just out. I was like, oh, I gotta have fun with him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So speaking of kills,
Yes.
you talked about murdering everyone in the room in the music video.
Yeah.
What is your favorite kill that Art has done?
My favorite kill that Art has done so far is Santa Claus's kill.
Yeah.
That was just fun.
Not the all for the audience. R.I.P. Santa.
There it goes Christmas. Santa's dead, boys and girls. Oh no.
It's okay, it was his understudy children.
Yeah.
It was not the real
Not
Santa.
the real Santa.
Not the
The real Santa's fine.
He's
Yeah,
fine.
he's fine. Oh, in my eye. But that was fun because Danny Roebuck he's such a pro.
Yeah.
He is like, because he's a former stage actor as well. He's a comedian, and he knows how to be a great straight man
Yes.
in those type of situations. And that's like, you have to have a great straight man for comedy to work. And he just knows how to throw you the joke.
It is such a fun scene.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
We had
all
like
around.
so much of that is his own dialogue that he was just making up on
Really?
the fly, and it was like, oh my god, you're just giving me gold to work with
Yeah.
and play off of. It was just like, so we just played. It was that whole entire scene was my favorite scene I've shot in the whole entire
That's fantastic,
series
yeah.
so far. Yeah.
So we'll go from favorite to least favorite. What kill haunts you?
The one that I did not like was also in part 3, and it was
Yeah.
Aunt Jess.
R.I.P.
The rats were great. The rats, those things are adorable.
Yeah.
They're so sweet.
Yes.
They get such a bad rap,
They do.
and it's stupid black plague. And I'm like, no, it wasn't the rats that caused plague, it was the fleas.
Right.
So it's like, it's not the rats' fault. They were just boats.
Flea boats, if
You're not going to blame Titanic. but what got me was the puke.
Yeah, it's so disgusting.
I don't like puke.
Yeah.
That's what gets me. I can handle blood and guts and poop and all that kind of stuff, no problem. Puke is just, that's my whole entire life.
Right.
Like with my dog with puke, I'm like, oh god, no, mom, clean it up, but there's gonna be more to clean up. Because I'll clean up everything else, but not that. It's like, I swear, if I ever have kids one day, I'm like, honey, I will change the diapers, I will fix the wounds, but if it comes to the puke, you got that.
You're on it.
You gotta do that.
What did y'all use for that, or what did they use for that?
Well, here's the thing, that house was so hot.
Oh yeah.
That day.
Oh,
And
I'm already
there were
grossed
so
out
many
for you.
people in that room, and then they come in here with this cream of mushroom
No.
soup. And it smelled horrible, and they put other stuff in it too, just that make it all clumpy, and I was like, oh god, it just smelled horrible. It's like, what you see on screen is just a fraction of what they filmed.
Yeah.
There was so much more puke coming out of that thing. And they even, and like one time it just projectile vomited, and they had to screen like this tarp up, so it just put it on it, and so that just smelled. It was like, this is great. And I'm even over here just going, guys, can I get like my stunt double just to come in and do this for us? I was like, I'm trying not to ruin my makeup, because if I puke in this, Heather, my makeup artist, is going to kill me. And she's on the side, yes, I will. And they're like, no, Dave, your face is totally in the shot in this. I'm like, oh, guys, oh. So I'm on the side, oh. And of course, when you see the movie, my face is not in the shot. It's not in the shot. They were just doing this to mess with me. And even what made it worse was Samantha Scafidi, who plays Victoria.
Oh, yeah.
She's not even in that part with me, but she just wanted to come down and watch everything. She's got the makeup on, and she's eating this horrible smelling bag of corn nuts.
No.
Those things repulse me anyway, just the name of corn nuts. Is just like, it just sounds so bleh. And she just right up in my face going, Dave, what's wrong? I'm like, oh, go away, I hate you. It was bad. It was bad. So that scene haunts me this day.
I can imagine.
And they got it all on tape, so I imagine one day they're just going to release
Yes,
that.
they did.
Because I'm just, I did puke. I was very proud of myself.
Yeah.
Good for you.
That was
Yeah.
not fun.
So do you think because of
That's
that?
how I felt. That's exactly how I felt. Don't puke.
Yeah. I was like, so do you think because of that, like to mess with you, we could maybe see another puke scene? Like Davey,
hope
like
not.
just for 5 scenes in the
Oh
fourth?
my god. I just got to probably do something like from like Problem Child 2 where I don't like everybody. It's like, oh no. No, I've seen so many videos like that kind of stuff, like amusement park rides where someone's going through the loop instead
Oh,
of
it's terrible.
pukes going through the loop and just on everybody. I'm like, oh god, no. Oh, it's horrible.
Well, I don't think we've said it, but like, congratulations on Terrifier 3.
Oh, thank
What
you.
is that said? Yeah. Really exciting.
That's insane.
Really wild. Like, we can't wait for
Beyonce.
Terrifier 4, right? You did. I mean, better than Beyonce in Miami. No offense to Beyonce, but.
Broke a world record
Yeah,
there.
truly,
That was
truly.
like, we did not expect that at all. And that's because of you guys, so thank you. Yeah, give yourself an applause.
So is there anything that you know about Terrifier 4 that you can like give us a little hint? Like will we maybe learn a little bit more about art?
I do know, that's the only part I do know
Okay.
about is that Damien definitely wants to explore art's origins
Yeah.
in this one, so I have no idea what he's doing. Because he and I have over the past decade have been going back and forth about art's origins and stuff like that. So I have no idea what he's going to make official.
Sure.
So I'm as excited as you guys to find out what's going to happen in this movie because I don't know anything.
Because I did just see recently on Instagram, he posted a picture of the script and he
Yeah.
said it was finally done, so.
Well, it's not finally
Oh.
done. He's writing it right now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's doing that and also writing another movie for Sam Raimi. So he's
Oh, wow.
he's going back and forth between two things right now.
That's
so I'm like, this
awesome.
is insane. And I'm like, okay. So I want to know what's going on too.
Right.
So I'm excited. But I know this. I think this is going to close. I guess you would say the Sienna
Okay.
Oh, well, yeah.
story
Yeah.
arc and stuff like that. But I don't think it's going to be the end of Terrifier.
Yeah.
There's always ways to bring the villain back and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I think this is like the close of this story arc that he's going with right now. So.
Yeah.
But-
She's such a great final girl.
Oh.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
really like
Yes.
the best
Yes.
final girl.
Oh, she kicks ass.
Yeah.
Truly does.
Literally in real life too. She like teaches kickboxing.
Oh, is she
Wow.
really?
Yeah, she's got a black belt, so I was like, I have to mind myself around her because she could totally kick my butt. And I risk my life all the time because I like to scare her on set a lot. So
Oh, no.
because she has actually a fear of clowns.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
She picked the wrong movie to
Yeah, I
sign
know.
up for.
I like to just sneak
It's
up
like
behind
sad,
her and
I know,
just
it's
like
gonna get
stand behind her when she's talking. And she turns around. I'm like, hi.
This is gonna get gone, yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised I haven't gotten got yet. She did get me one time though in part 2 but it wasn't on purpose, but because like the flail that I used against her when she takes it away from
Yeah.
me, because I know I was hitting her with that thing sometimes because she couldn't put protection on her back,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like. Even those like just rubber instruments that we had on there, those things still
They would have to
Oh, I bet.
sting. And I was like, hey, sorry. Sorry. She's like, it's okay, Dave. And then she got it, and so one of the takes where she's supposed to go across my face, it's supposed to be just like a little far away from my face, it's not actually hitting me. But stupid me leaned in a little bit too close. And so it just goes, boop, it hits my lip, and I'm like, woo! Woo! And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, I deserve it after what you've gone through. I'm like, but ooh, if this is what you're feeling, I am so sorry now. So yeah, so she got me.
So a Terrifier being such like a dark movie with so many, I mean, a lot of children murdered,
Yeah.
honestly, in the third. That was a little scary. But like, how do you guys like, do you find that on set you guys try to keep it light, like when other things aren't filming? Or do you find that, like, do you have to do that to kind of get out of it for a minute?
Oh yeah, I'm always going around being goofy and silly. I do a lot of weird voices all the time.
Perfect.
So it's, I try to keep things fun, and I'm not the only one. There's a lot of just joking around on set. That's probably the weirdest thing about doing horror films. And it's other ones I've been on too. It's all been like that, where there's so much just joking around and silliness happening behind the scenes, and we're like, okay, action, stab, stab, stab. So this is a weird juxtaposition, but also for Terrifier 3, especially with working with the children, because I'm a former teacher.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. I have a degree in elementary education, so I used to be in charge of kids. But like especially for the mall scene, I knew the kids were they had a lot of little ones, and I wanted to make because they weren't supposed to be afraid of being sick.
Right.
And so I wanted to make sure they were comfortable with me and weren't going to be afraid of me and all that. So I came and I asked if I could do this, if I could just come and meet the children beforehand. And I did like a little 30-minute like Q&A session. I let them all come up and touch the makeup and all that kind of stuff, just so they were cool with me. They got to know me.
So no trauma, no bringing you up in therapy later.
No, we had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with them. And the one that was afraid of me was the little girl at the very beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah.
She would not be around me at all, and I so like she was just terrified.
Is that the one that was in the cabinet?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And she, I mean, I even let her come see me get to makeup, and she still was like, as soon as she sees me in makeup, she's like, no. So it's fine with me outside of makeup,
Yeah.
but not in makeup. And so of course I was just like, okay, if we don't actually have to be on screen with each other, I am not going to be anywhere around you, so you're comfortable, you can do your thing and all that. But what was funny was Chrissy Fox, who played the mom of that scene, her daughter Elle was there. Her daughter's like 4 years old, and if you know who Chrissy is, she's Spider-One's wife, and you know Rob Zombie's. That's Rob Zombie's brother.
Okay.
So yeah, so Elle is basically, you know, well, not basically, but is Rob Zombie's niece.
Yeah.
So Elle's very well adjusted to horror. I mean, she has a curtain of phallic in her room, so it's just like there's horror stuff all over. So she's totally fine. So the whole time she's like, "Don't be afraid of him. He's all cool." And she's carrying around an art clown doll with her on set. So she's awesome. That child is going to rule the world one day. I swear. Like, I would go to war for that child. She is so awesome. I was like, when we were flying to Texas for the premiere, I'm like going to the restroom and I walk by their family and Elle's sitting there and she's still got her art clown doll and he only has one hand. She lost a hand somewhere. But she's sitting there and she just starts like, "David, guess what I'm watching?" I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Abigail!" And she just yells it out to the whole plane. And Chrissy's like, "Oh God, I'm a bad parent." It's like, that's awesome. And I'll have fun. It's like, "I love this movie. People die."
And that was, I think, one of the really cool things about Terrifier 3 too was, I love that it started with almost kind of a mini movie, and then it went into the actual movie. I thought that was cool.
I love that opening.
It's a great open.
And the sound design of that's so
Yes,
good.
yeah.
It's like the first time I saw it in the theater with the surround sound, I was like, oh, especially with poor Timmy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I always love going to watch that in theaters and watch everybody's reactions as soon as that happens, because you just see people like, "Oh, it's nice." And there's some great reactions, like someone like brought their sister with them to see it during Christmas. Like, "How are we going to go see a family movie?" And then that happens, and you see that they have it on tape, and she just turns to her sister, and her sister's like, "Oh, you're such a family movie!" It's like, that's great.
And our family's involved.
Oh yeah,
So, you know, it's a family movie.
It just doesn't end well.
I thought it was really neat, and I noticed it, and then I listened to you on a podcast where you said it, but the makeup changed from Terrifier 1 and 2 to 3.
Yes.
And it does seem much more expressive.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you about the shoes, right? So,
Oh.
what about the shoes?
They're the same shoes that Mike Gianelli wore in the original.
So why is
This
it
is so wild.
All Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
It's because we can't find another pair that's the same type.
So, and those were what
Yeah.
you wore yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Same shoes, yeah.
Those things have
They've
been
been
around
through
for
it.
about 20 years, so it's just like, those things have gone through a lot. There's like about, a few inches of glue on the bottom to keep that heel, because the heel keeps falling off of them. And I'm like, geez, but yeah, those are the same shoes. And there's so much, I'm like, every time I wear them, like the last time I wore them where blood was on me was last summer, and I still wear them now, and every time I take my foot out, there's blood on my sock. And so I'm like, there's just so much blood that's been saturated into those things after all these years. So it's crazy.
Yeah, how much blood, like, what is the blood budget for Terrifier?
Oh
Because,
God,
my
I don't
goodness.
know a lot.
Just have like truckloads of blood.
Oh yeah, and we have so many different types of blood too, depending on what we
Oh,
needed.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, there's different types of blood. Depending on you have the edible blood. If you have anything that goes in your mouth or stuff like that, then we have like dried blood, so it looks like it's clotting and stuff like that. And we have there's a whole science behind blood. Yeah.
Somebody has figured that out.
Yeah, that's a better question for Damien, because he can go into a whole spiel about it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So I know, hopefully everyone knows, but you've got a new movie coming out on April 2nd called
Yes.
Scream Boat. trailer's awesome. If you haven't seen it, Google. It looks very fun.
Oh yeah, it's so stupid and silly. It's great. It's such a fun movie. I've seen it now twice with the audiences, and because we've done some sneak previews and stuff like that, and it's a fun, silly movie. I did it with the team I did the Mean One with, as well as some of our Terrifier team, and it was we filmed on Staten Island Ferry that Pete David.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, you're Matt.
Hello.
How about I just leave?
Yeah,
Can you say the one that Pete Davidson
yeah, Pete
owns?
Davidson and Colin Joestone.
Okay.
So that was fun. But they filmed all that stuff first, and because I'm playing like about a 2.5 to 3 foot size mouse.
Yeah.
And so I is this not working right now?
Is it not on? I think we broke. Oh, we're back.
All right, we're back.
Check.
Remember when
Remember
I
who
said
you are.
everything was working fine?
Yeah. It's okay, Matt.
It's okay, bye-bye.
But yeah, so like they filmed all that stuff on the ferry first, and then they I had just moved to Los Angeles, so they filmed me on a full soundstage with the digital projection screen like what they use for like the Mandalorian and stuff like that, and they had that behind me, and so they could project what they had filmed, and I could interact with it. Then I had giant props, so I felt like I was doing like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Right.
So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It's just like, especially if you're a Disney fan, you're gonna really enjoy this film because there's so many Easter eggs and jokes about the Disney films, the company itself. It's a love letter to Disney in a lot of ways.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing
Yeah, I
it.
can't wait to see that one.
Also,
So what is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
No, I was just going to mention that you've got a practical Joker on there too. So
Yeah,
that
cute.
feels very Staten Island.
Yeah. That was
Yeah,
fun.
it's Quinn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's we were watching the trailer the other day at work, and Hannah was like, I think that's in the Practical Joker.
Oh yeah.
So what has it been like taking because you were the mean one, you were in that, you portrayed the Grinch, and then, or a green guy who was evil, who looks like the Grinch, and then now you've got this Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
Do you kind of taking these old characters and
Oh, it's fun.
making them evil?
I'm ruining everybody's childhood.
Yes, you are.
It's fun, and both of those are like full circle moments for me because, of course, Grinch, I toured with the production of that for 5 years, so that was fun returning to that character. But with Willie, my first real leading role I ever played outside of a church theater production was Mickey and Mickey's Christmas Carol in my middle school production.
So you're just taking all of
Yeah.
your old characters and twisting them.
Yeah, it's fun because also Mickey was like the first time I really decided I wanted to do comedy. Because when we were doing the show, things started going wrong, and I started improvising on stage. Like the set fell down on Scrooge, and I was thankfully a cardboard set. And I'm like, oh, Mr. Scrooge, I think we have rats. And then we had our Cratchit family dinner scene, and like the table had a little chicken on it broke, and it shot the chicken over the audience. And I was like, oh well, I guess we're having fast food tonight. and had everybody laughing, and I was like, oh, I love this feeling. And it's like, I want to do comedy.
Yeah.
And I love, because I was bullied in middle school too, so that was like the first time I had people laughing with me instead of at me, and I loved that feeling. And I was like, I got to do more of this. That's what really got me wanting to do theater more. And so it's definitely a full circle moment for me to come back and play Willie.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
So you said comedy. Is that kind of what you wanted to go into? And then, here you are. Now you're,
Yeah.
you weren't intending to be like a horror icon?
Yeah, that's the weird thing, because I was always a comedy guy. I did musicals, I did a lot of musical theater, and I did comedy, I did voiceover work. I do over 200 voices and like 25 different dialects, and I'm known for being silent. It's the irony of it all. Because I do speak, though, in Terrifier too, and a lot of people don't realize that. It's like, I do the art.
I'm wearing an art
Yes.
shirt. I didn't know it was you.
A fun surprise in every bite. And it was funny, because I actually got in an argument with someone online, because they were like, oh, wow, they got Mark Hamill to do this. And I'm like, oh, no.
Don't give me props.
No, we do not have that kind of budget. Like, I quit, but thank you. But like, no, that's Mark Hamill. I know Mark Hamill. I'm like, no, that's me. Thank you. I wish. So
What was it like riding a tricycle in those shoes?
Oh, now the first one was actually a bicycle.
Okay.
So that was even harder.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Terrifier 1.
Yeah, because those shoes were big old waffle stompers, and that floor was so slick, so I fell down constantly because it's hard to get momentum going on that thing.
Can't get that traction.
Oh no! And so that crash you see in the movie is real. They just thought that was hilarious, and well, let's keep that in there. But yeah, that was a very, very silly night for all of us.
Yeah.
We were laughing hysterically.
Well, I guess if you want now, we could turn it over to some audience questions. Liberty has the microphone.
So if anyone has any questions, we're actually going to, I'm not going to walk that much today because I did too much yesterday. That's just how it is. So we're going to make you walk. If you have questions, just come line up behind me. How's that? And we're also testing this mic to make sure. So wait, I'm first. Thank you so much for not scaring my husband yesterday.
Oh, you're welcome.
He's actually like, he was so great. He's still afraid of clowns, don't get me wrong, but.
Oh yeah, he was your escort yesterday.
Yes, I was nice. I have scared other ones before.
He's like, are you okay?
Oh, I had one, because one time I had a security guard that was very afraid of me, and he told me that, and we're in the elevator together, and I was just slowly bringing the horn up to his face. And he's like, this guy's huge. He's like, oh. And I just waited till the doors opened on the floor, because everybody was out there on the floor, and I honked it. He's like, ah! And then I was like, yes, got you.
Have you watched Damien Leone's Frankenstein versus the Mummy, and what do you think of it?
I actually have not. They told me not to.
Probably should. I was just curious about that. I was go over what he done. So
I'm very interested to see what it's like, though. I don't know where to find it. So.
it's like $5 on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's an after party. No, there's
We'll watch it together.
Hi, so I had a question about your contacts that you use in the third movie. Did they cover your full eye, or were they just like, the black was just like the iris of
Oh, they were scleral lenses.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, those were not fun.
I bet. I
Yeah.
wore.
scleral lenses last year for a convention. I literally had to take them out like halfway through. I could
Oh,
not.
yeah. Oh, they're not. The ones I really hated wearing were the white ones.
Oh,
when I get
yeah.
stabbed in, because I could not see anything except for like shadows of people.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they would have to lead me around set because I'm like, I can't see anything.
You're a real trooper for that, for doing the whole movie like that.
Oh,
That's
thank you. I had to wear them also for Steamboat. Steamboat,
yeah.
Because I had like the big black eyes.
Yeah.
So it was just like, I had a really good lens tech, thankfully, for that. So every 10 minutes, he's just boop, boop, boop.
Yeah.
So I dropped it. Oh, this is nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, kind of an odd question. If you could put anyone on your Hear Me Out cake, who would it be? I mean a real Hear Me Out, like a real one.
I have to think about
That's
that
a great
one. I've never really
question.
actually thought of that. Of course, there's always Lola Bunny and stuff like that. But I would say like Cortana from like Halo, yeah.
Also, one more just like smaller question, it's kind of odd. When Art the Clown was a kid, do you think that like his mom might have like did the soft spot in his head and made it an ashtray, and that's why he turned out the way he did?
Just here, guys. That's actually a spoiler for Terrifier 4.
He's such a good boy.
Like, maybe that's why, like, when he's grumpy, he goes, man, you never just whatever he's done.
No. This is coming from a personal experience, isn't it? I kind of imagine like Art coming off his mom and strangling her to death with his own umbilical cord. It was born evil. Yeah.
Thank you, that's all.
You're welcome. Do not let her have kids. Child services.
Okay, now we have a stage right here. My son wants to know if Art the Clown has ever killed with a pizza cutter or if he plans to kill with a pizza cutter.
I like how you think. I like how you think. You know, that's the sad thing. Is like we did have that whole scene in the first film in a pizzeria, and he didn't use a pizza cutter on anybody. We should have done that. I like how you think.
If they do it, you know where it came from.
I know you've started out in horror, and I noticed that you're kind of continuing in horror with Screamboat, and it looks to be with the DC. Do you see yourself adventuring to other types of acting as opposed to like drama or not necessarily rom-coms, but other ventures rather than just horror? Or do you see yourself just as a horror actor?
I would definitely love to venture out to other avenues. I'm not really more of a drama guy, though. I've been offered dramatic roles, and I've turned them down because I'm like, that's boring. I like to play fun roles, but of course, I would really love to get into like more of the superhero world. And of course, there's Joker is like my ultimate dream role to play. I want
Which
to
is another
finally do it
clown.
right. Yeah, just another clown, but come on. Puts a smile on everybody's face, you know? So who knows? Maybe James Gunn will finally give me a chance. I don't know. Hopefully, knock on wood.
We can start a petition.
Yes, please do.
First things first, you're awesome. I have two questions. First one, what is your favorite non-horror film?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? That is my favorite film of all time. I think it's a perfect film. It has got so many different genres in it. It's just a perfect film.
That movie scared me as a kid.
Oh, of course, yeah,
The
just do.
steamroller?
Yeah. Remember me, honey? When I killed your brother!
Okay, question number two. If you could be in a movie with anyone, who would you want as one of your co-stars?
Alive or dead?
Like you're gonna kill them? Or
You know,
someone alive.
Still alive.
still alive? Ooh. I think I would love to be in something with like either Doug Jones or Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah.
Or Andy Serkis, because I love to be with people I can learn from, because I always wanting to just keep learning as I go around, and I love to work with people that I can take things from and evolve as an actor from. So I'd love to work with those three guys.
Thank you.
Yes. And there's always Robert Wenta, which we still like.
Hi. So you said your voice was in Terrifier 2 as Art Krispies, but there's a guy singing the Clown Cafe in the credits. Is that also you?
No, that's not me. I believe that was one of the Kaplans that wrote the song.
All right, thank you.
Hello, Mr. David.
Hello.
I was wondering, do you have any funny stories with Stefan or just being on the set of Lazy Town at all?
Oh, I never got to be on Lazy Town, but Stefan was hysterical in real life. He was like a huge cartoon character brought to life. We'd be like in rehearsals, and they'd be giving us notes, and he'd just see them on the sidewalk, make like sounds, and he'd be like. That kind of stuff. It was just like, what? In the middle of serious notes, or like stuff, and he could get away with it. And he was hysterical. But he would also, what was really cool, because he would bring his family on tour with us, and his kids at the time were like 4 or 5 at the time, Thor and Julia, and sometimes they would misbehave. And he was even going from being silly stuff to boom, dad mode, all of a sudden like, whoa! It's like, boss, sit down, right? I'm like, whoa! that was always an amazing thing. See, I really miss him. I really miss him. That was, if you didn't know, he passed away back in 2018 from cancer, and that was a big loss for the world. So he was awesome. He was an awesome dude. Very just stand-up guy, great father, just great human being.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, David. I was going to ask, would you be interested in being featured in like a game like Dead by Daylight or like a Terrifier game?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know, like, Kane Hodder was great. He did the mocap for Friday the 15th game, and it was just awesome.
Oh, I would be ecstatic, especially, I know everybody's been wanting us to be in Dead by Daylight for a long time, and, I think that would be awesome, so who knows? It might be happening, I don't know. I find out things before, like later than anybody else, so I'm just like, oh wow, this is great. So I do know they have that side scroller coming out. like a side-scroller beat 'em up that's coming out with Terrifier. That's gonna be really cool. So that's I'm a huge gamer myself, so my dream is for Art to be a DLC character for Mortal Kombat one of these days. Yes! I just want to go to NetherRealm Studios and just tour it and stuff like that because I'm a Mortal Kombat fan from like day one, so I'm just like finish him.
Fatality.
Fatality.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Fortnite.
David, what's it like being one of the most iconic horror characters of our generation? And what is your favorite kill weapon out of all of the Terrifier movies?
Oh, I have so many fun toys. But as for being, I guess, an icon, it feels weird for me to say that because that feels too cocky. I leave that up to you guys to determine that. But I feel honored to be up there with the greats, so thank you for that. But as for my favorite toy, I mean, I do love the flail. I think that's a really cool one because like a lot of people don't realize like the ropes on that are not made from rope. That's supposed to be human hair from his victims that he's made into. Yeah, we pointed that out in the comic book when we did that. But I also really enjoyed the freeze gun. That was so much fun. I felt like, you know, Mr. Freeze. I was like, everybody chill.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah. And the Tommy gun was fun too at this point.
Yeah.
Hello. I was wondering if you're able to tell us your theories about Art's origins. If you're not allowed to share that,
I know things, so I can't really say. But I will say that I don't think, you know, we want people to ever feel pity towards him. He is evil. He is true evil incarnate, and that's why he was basically Hell's, you know, pawn, their avatar on Earth. Because like this guy's messed up. This guy's totally depraved. There's no humanity in this guy. Yeah.
Thank you.
You'll find out more though.
Hi David, my name is Krista. I was wondering, so obviously they don't show Jonathan's dead in the third movie. One, is he actually dead? And two, if he is, like why wasn't it shown?
We're all dying to know.
I can't say about if he's dead or not because I know that's going to be revealed in part 4. So, but why nothing was shown is part of it was just because of the shock value, because we didn't want the audience to know that we wanted to have that misdirect there that was Gabby, but yeah, plus. I don't want to get
Guess we'll find out.
We'll find out after this. Stay tuned.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I think I broke the table.
No, it's okay. It's been breaking all day. It's fine.
What's your favorite scary movie or horror series?
Showgirls.
She doesn't know that movie.
It is a screen.
And also, if you were in a horror movie, who would you be besides a killer, like a final girl or like the first one to die?
Oh gosh, my favorite series would be the Nightmare on Elm Street series or the Scream series. I love both. And Wes Craven, boy, he was great at what he did. But as for what kind of character I would probably be like the Randy type of character, like the comedic relief that gets killed halfway through or something. Like I definitely would not be the final girl. That would be like, no, he's dead. I would do something incredibly stupid and funny. End up putting my own foot in my mouth, literally.
Hello, so I don't actually have a question. I'm up here just to let you know that in the third movie, when you lay down and made the blood angel, chef's kiss. Like, yes. It was amazing. I wanted to get up and be like, woo, yeah!
So that wasn't even in the script. That was like something that we added.
If you kind of thought of that yourself? Or?
No, that was Damien, because we were trying, that was the last thing I filmed on Terrifier 3 was Blood Angel. And Damien and I, it was driving us crazy because we always try to have some kind of little joke at the end of one of his kills, like some kind of code, some little wink and nudge to like the audience. And we were just like, what can we do for this scene? What's gonna be, we gotta have something at the end of this. And that day, Damien's like, yeah, I had another idea and I ran it by him. I'm not gonna tell you what it was because we're not utilize it in the future. But he's like, well, about Blood Angel, I'm like, oh! That's great. And so that was fun. I was giddy doing that. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm flicking everybody off.
I didn't even notice
Yeah. That's something Damien didn't even realize until I did it. And he's like, oh, you jerk.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi. I know you have quite the background in like theater and musical theater. If you ever went back and did like musical theater again, like what are some dream roles or like dream shows that you would want to be in?
Oh gosh. Because I would really, my favorite, one of my favorite musicals of all time is Les Miserables.
Yeah.
Yes!
So yes, God, I cry like a baby every time I see it. But I would love to play Thénardier in Les Mis, or of course Seymour in Little Shop, or Fagin and Oliver. I love comedic roles and villain roles and stuff like that. So those are roles I would really love to play one day.
Thank you.
Yeah, and of course if they ever made Nightmare Before Christmas into a musical, I would love to play Jack.
Yeah. We need to manifest that.
I know!
Another petition.
Think about all these other musicals that were movies on stage.
That is true. That white very waited on that.
I know. I just want to see Oogie Boogie's number on stage.
Yeah.
That would be
Hi. So, what does the fake blood taste like, and does the flavor change depending on the viscosity?
It does. I've had different types. There's been like minty flavors. There's been like chocolatey flavors. It depends on the type they use. It's not bad. I kind of enjoy it. So it does make your poop turn different colors. Yeah, that's a fun fact.
Nice.
I wish I had known that before. Especially like the stuff for the mean one, they put this green stuff in my mouth to make my mouth all weird, and so I didn't realize it the next morning. I'm like, oh my god, everything's green. Like, what's wrong? Oh, they put stuff, okay. Almost was like, I need to go to the doctor. That's revealing too much.
Hi, David.
Hi.
So my question is there any sort of inspiration you get into whenever you play Art the Clown? And also, my first scary movie I ever watched was Freddy vs. Jason. So if there was another iconic horror character Art would go against, who do you think it would be?
Well, inspirations, I said earlier, like a lot of the silent comedians and stuff like that are big inspirations. And also, of course, I look at art as being an amalgamation of all the horror icons that came before him. There's little bits and pieces of every single icon in art. So, of course, Freddy's a big influence on, but Jason, Michael Myers, Chucky, Leatherface, Hannibal Lecter, Jigsaw, all of those guys are inside of him. So I'm always processing all that in my head, whatever happens. But as for who I would like him to go up against, it not necessarily be a horror villain. I mean, most people would think, oh, Pennywise. So I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, all he would have to do is point and laugh at him. But I would love to see him go up against the janitor from Willy's Wonderland. I think that would be hilarious because they're both silent characters. And plus it'll be Nicolas Cage, and that would be just amazing anyway to work with Nicolas Cage. Yeah. You know that would get like really wild and crazy.
It would.
And also one more comment. I don't think I've ever laughed as hard in a horror movie as like your improv of you slapping Sienna.
That was another Damien idea, sadly. It was like, because like this scene is so morose and just down and out. Like we need something to make people laugh. It's like, Dave, every time you go by Lauren, just slap her on the back of the head. And I'm like, oh wow, literal slapstick comedy. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Lauren, because we had to do that like 30 or 40 times with different angles every time I would pass her by. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I would try to pull my slack as much as I could so I wouldn't hurt her too much because I knew she was getting a headache. And like one time I slapped the back of the chair. I'm like, yeah, I deserve that. I deserve it. But that's what David knows. It's fun. Like over the years, we've started influencing each other. Like he's coming up with like comedic bits, and I'm coming up with scary bits and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool how that's He's very collaborative that way, though.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, so yesterday when we had met, I mentioned the way I was introduced to Terrifier was I had watched it on a first date with an ex. Have you had any like strange interactions with like people from your past or like family, like seeing where you are now?
Well, I have gone home, which was a lot of fun, and met a lot of people, and it was really crazy. Like one of the people that kind of gave me hell back in high school and stuff like that. This is the best one. My high school reunion. I went back for my 20th reunion right after Terrifier 1 released, and I was sitting with one of my friends. He's got some different disabilities, and Jeff was just like, hey, can you bring some autographs? So I was signing some autographs from it, and this one girl back in high school, she was like on the homecoming court and all that. She was one of those, she was a Heather back in the day, so it was like, so one of the plastics, and she just comes up and she still had that attitude like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm signing autographs. And she's like, for what? For my movie. And she's like, wait a minute, that's on Netflix, isn't it? It was like a month after we released on Netflix. I'm like, mm-hmm. And she's like, wait, that's you? I'm like, mm-hmm. She's like, oh my God, hi, I'm so-and-so. And I kid you not, I just turned and looked at her, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't really remember you. We done like and you just see her brain just go, everybody knew me. And she just kind of just wandered off. She was like, and my buddy just turns to me, he's like, oh my God, that was awesome. I'm like, oh, that felt so good. I hated that bitch. It felt good.
So a Mean Girls horror movie, maybe in the works next.
Yes, take out all the plastics.
I got 2 questions for you. So I don't know what my brother was smoking when he did this, but he made an edible like fake blood chocolate. And,
wow.
Yeah, and it was for like, I was gonna be like a assault victim for Halloween, and I was just curious because I could climb walls after that. Like it was so sticky. I was just curious, how long did it take for you to just be like completely okay with like the stickiness, or like how long did it take for you to become unsticky?
It depends on the type of blood we use. So we have some very sticky blood, and sometimes we have blood that's not sticky, which is, I love it when we use that one, but we always don't use that one. So I've actually been literally stuck to my weapons because I've had so much blood on me. And they're like, okay, we're going to dinner. I'm like, guys, I can't let go of my club. I'm like, help. So I hate that. The worst for me was when we did the laundromat scene, because I was covered head to toe in blood, and it was so cold they had to turn off the heat in there because it was, the sound that was disrupting it. I was freezing cold all night, and I had to go home in a truck, and I'm like just sitting on like garbage, like bags, and just like, and it's like maybe 20 degrees that night too. So I'm like, this sucks. But that was the best shower of my life. I was like, 'cause I was sticking to everything. It sucked. So it was like, I always, like, now when I watch films and movies and TV shows and stuff like that where I see a lot of people in blood, I'm like, oh God, I feel so sorry for you. Like when I was watching like Chucky the last season with Devin Sawa, and he's in the elevator and fills up with all the blood. I'm like, I saw Devin at a con afterwards, like, dude, man, I am so sorry for what you went through. He's like, actually, they didn't use the sticky blood on me. I'm like, oh, you lucky son of a bitch.
All right. Last one, I promise. Okay, so in the first movie, was that a ritual to like become the demon manifested as art? Like, did art become possessed due to what he did in the first movie?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. He goes. I won't say he was possessed, but he was brought back from the abyss because of all the bad stuff he did. It's like, we like this guy. He's like the Antichrist in that way.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
All right, thank you.
I've been brought back from the dead twice, Jesus. So.
So whatever.
How hard was it to be silent
it can be very hard at times, especially because I'm a chatterbox. So I'm like, I think sometimes they just tell me they're rolling just to shut me up on set. But it can be hard. The hardest thing though is for me not to make grunts or exhale loudly when I'm in the middle of like a fight scene or something. Because if that's an instinctual thing you want to do. I mean, I even took martial arts, so that's one thing they always tell you to do is make grunts. It helps you have more power with your punches and stuff like that. And I have to try to not do that because I want to make it easy as I can for the sound editors and everything in post so they don't have to edit out all my sounds. But sometimes they still have to because it just slips out. But it is definitely difficult at times.
I'm getting a signal that we have time for one more question.
Oh.
I'm just the messenger.
Oh.
I'm still just the messenger. Please don't.
Read her shirt. You'll live it forever, honey. I'm kidding.
Hi, David. So this one isn't really my question. I know earlier you said you like Mortal Kombat. I must ask, who is your favorite character?
In Mortal Kombat? Woo! Probably Sub-Zero. He's always fun to fight with. I just love his powers. I'm usually like a Sub-Zero or Scorpion or a Raiden fan. I'm old school that way. But sometimes Jade too. I like Jade because of the bow staff and stuff like that.
No, I was wondering because like Sub-Zero, Scorpion is my kids' favorite characters. Yes. My middle name is Jade, and I had actually named her after a character. Her name's Deborah.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I was like, I freaking love her. So I was like, maybe I'll name my daughter that.
Get over here.
She is 7 months. So speaking of which, how do you feel about young children, say like her age, that like are the character? Or whatever, because I have like a Terrifier Stanley, and every time she sees it, she's just so excited. She gets a big smile on her face, and so.
That's been the most mysterious thing to me is how children respond to art, and it's different ages. It's like the younger ones, they haven't learned to fear something like that yet. So like when they bring like little ones into like the photo ops, I'm always ready for the. But it's like, I would say 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh, hey! They're just like very excited to see me. And it's the older ones is like, I think about like 8, 9, 10 and up, that's when they get a little, I'm not too sure about you. And it's usually the boys, like the little girls are fearless, which I think is awesome. But as for like watching, I always leave that up to the parents to decide. Like personally, I would probably not let my children watch these films until they're a certain age, but it's up to, because different children can handle different things. If they can, like I said, Damien was watching horror films when he was 3 years old, so it's like, I know I couldn't have watched them at that age, I would have been terrified. But I always just leave that up to the parents to decide, is like, because you never know who can handle what.
I'm concerned. She's making really deep eye contact with me. We might have just I think she is. Everybody, we want to stand up and take a group selfie so we can post that on social media. So everybody gather up. And let's give a big hand to our panelists and